Good morning, you guys. Good morning. I went ahead and started it early, or yeah, I guess on time. Waiting for the crew, the MF team to show up. But just want to jump on here and talk about a few things that we got going on. Um, Multifamily land here. Um, Lots of crazy stuff. Lots of crazy stuff. We've been talking to a lot of investors, talking to a lot of buddies, friends, and telling them about the projects that we're working on, the things that are coming up. Um, Next week, by the way, next week, Brad Sumrock is coming to Dallas, and Pace Morby Pace will be presenting there, and then I believe we're going to go to Corpus. We're still deciding if we're going to go down to Corpus on Saturday, and then so everybody's coming in to Dallas this weekend. Oscar, Aoni, KJ, and Joseph are going out to Tennessee to go do a mastermind, and they're going to present a deal to their mentor out there, Carlos. Some of y'all may know Carlos, but let's see here. But this weekend or the next weekend, we're super pumped for everybody to come into Dallas. I can't wait to see you guys. Pace bought 100 tickets for people to come out, and it's going to be nuts. Zach is going to Nashville. Okay, nice. But yeah, we want to jump on here this morning and talk about some of our deals going on. We're just waiting for the crew to show up, and I thought I would just go ahead and start and say, "What's up? How's everybody doing?" I think what I'm running into these past couple of days is sellers. There are some sellers out there that are still wanting too much, and we have the opportunity right now to get properties on seller finance. And I'm just so pumped for the season that we're in that people are still asking for cap rates. If y'all know what that means, people are still asking for cap rates that are lower, but the lending isn't there to support it. And so they're struggling to sell these things, and they're lowering their prices. I got an email the other day that was like new lower prices to meet the market, something like that. Good morning.
Hey, what's up, man?
We got Oscar in the house.
What's up, everyone? Good morning. Happy Friday. Dude, we're super excited. I woke up like I couldn't even sleep after last night, man.
Me either.
Mm,
Me either, bro.
man, we have so many good things coming up in the pipeline that it was just crazy for me to fall asleep last night. I think I laid in bed for a good hour or so and was like, man, we've got so many good things coming our way. But before that, actually, the night before, Myron, I had trouble sleeping because of the things we had going on. But after we so I guess we'll start back where you were at, man. Kind of interrupted you here for a second, but
I want to point out what Nicole said. Price improvements is what they're calling it. Love it. Yeah.
yeah.
Price improvements. I'm going to use that one day.
So going back to that, right? Because we were talking to earlier this week, we were talking to a broker, and we KJ and I were talking to the broker, and we were like, hey, man, the market's adjusting, interest rates are rising. We underwrote a deal for that particular property. We underwrote the deal. It just doesn't make sense in the conventional route. We underwrote it how many more times? It just doesn't make sense. So how can we Like, we really like this deal. What can we do to get creative with this deal to try to make it work? And the broker was like, well, I don't know. I don't know if there's much that we can do. The seller doesn't really want to do anything seller finance, and he's got investors he's got to pay. Man, I think that's it. I don't think this will be a fit. Let's just move on to the next one. And we're like, okay, cool. No problem. Let's move on to the next one. A day later, the guy shoots me and KJ a group text and says, hey, I think the seller might be open to doing something seller finance, and we might be able to do something. And KJ and I were like, wow. Like, yeah, we figured that was going to happen because of the way the market is going. There's just no way this thing can work in the conventional method. Either they have to drop down their purchase price dramatically, or try to see if we can do something seller finance. And that's where the market's headed. I think you were touching up on that a little bit earlier, Myron, is that the market is adjusting right now, and people are coming back with their deals who had it listed. They're taking them down, or they're just adjusting it according to the market. And so there's so much opportunity for everyone out there. Like, pitch seller finance to everyone that you know that's doing this, because that's the way to go, man. Seller finance is the way to go.
What I'm running in against is right now is people still think their cap rate is 4 or whatever, right? But once we kind of agree that terms are the best fit, they want interest only payments, which can make sense as far as a cash flow perspective. Correct? But then we get stuck on the exit because we haven't paid the principal down $1. Are you guys hearing me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm talking to somebody. There's a seller finance, like a duplex out in Alabama that I've been working on. It's been probably 3 weeks. And she sent me a contract last night that said interest only payments and a 4-year balloon, which makes sense. 4 years, that might work, but I'm like way overpaying. So if you think about that, like the cap rate, if they still get their price, the market's going to fluctuate. Everybody's trying to sell cheaper. And where are you going to be at in 4 years? Where are you going to be at? I just hung up with somebody else. They said they wanted a 2-year balloon, I think. Like, y'all are going to get, that's going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're getting good cash flow right now, but what are you going to do? And thankful for Joseph saying, wait a minute. Oops, sorry. Hold on. Sorry. Wait a minute. We got to think about what we're doing at the end of this thing. Are we going to be hurting? We're going to have a good 5-year run, but then we're going to cry. So, Joseph, do you want to touch up on what you figured out?
Yeah, you're referring to our current deal, and then what I stress tested it, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, as they've already previously mentioned, is we have this banging deal, right? We underwrote it every which way possible, and we were looking for a way that it didn't work, and it worked every single way, right? And then once we kind of locked in where we wanted to be at, I played with it one more time, and I said, you know what? The trend that we're seeing right now is interest rates are rising and rising and rising. And it just keeps going up. So what if our interest rate when we refinance is 8% for a long term? Right now it's like high fives. I think 5 to 6 is what we're looking at right now. So I'm saying, if 5 years, if it's the same or higher, what is that going to look like for us? So I changed it from 6 to 8, and that drastically changed our numbers. We were good years 1 through 5, but as soon as we refinanced, we were bleeding the rest of the time that we were holding the property, from year 6 to 10 plus, right? And so for us, that's concerning, right? We want to make sure that we're protected. And granted, we all believe that the interest rates aren't going to stay that high. Yeah, they're probably going to go that high, maybe even to double digits. but we don't believe that they're going to stay that high for long. So we think we'll be good for 5 years. But we're smart investors, right? We don't want to get into a pickle where we're stuck and underwater. So what are we going to do about it, right? So what we're going to do is put in a clause into the property. We're going to call it the protection clause. And let's say in 5 years, right, we go to refinance and the interest rate isn't a secure interest rate for us to be able to refinance comfortably. If we do that at that interest rate, we're going to be negative, right? So if that's the case, we want to be able to extend 1 year and try again next year, and so on and so forth. We'll have a clause in there that protects us, that if we are not able to exit with positive cash flow, we should be allowed 1 more year of extension, and to continue to be doing that until we can exit comfortably and pay off the seller. So that's what we're going to do, because it's going to protect us. So with that clause, it's 5-year interest only, but we have multiple extensions to keep us going for who knows how long, right? Ideally, we want to cash him out before year 5 is even over. So he's out of the picture. We don't have to worry about it. He's happy and he wants to sell us his other 200 plus units, right? That's the goal. But because we were, smart investors and we stress tested it for a possible bad situation, we found out about that. And I see Joel, first time I heard that clause, yeah, man, it's not necessarily something that's a common thing, but it's something we want to put in our contract so we're protected, right? A contract is completely open to negotiations. If there's something that would make you feel more comfortable or your seller feel more comfortable, you can absolutely put something like that in there. Whatever's on the paper, that's the agreement. Whatever you sign, that's the agreement. So just make sure you double check, triple check, maybe even have an attorney look at your paperwork, especially on a multifamily property. And I think that's what you were going for, Myron. I think that answered the question you were going for there.
Bro, you more than answered the question, because
Awesome.
What this is not going to be the last time we talk about this.
Oh, definitely
We're
not.
literally in the seller finance season. I'm so pumped for what's happening right now. It sucks in other ways, but our background, where we've come from, is this is putting us in the perfect position.
Yeah, 100%. I'm wearing the hat today, coincidentally.
Love it. But so I started a couple minutes early without y'all. I just talked about how Brad Sumrock is coming to Dallas. We got a bunch of people from Sub 2 rolling in, and at the same time, y'all are going out to Tennessee to do a mastermind and do a lot of great things out there. And then we just start talking about seller finance like we always do.
That's our favorite, man. It's our favorite. It's the go-to strategy.
But yeah, I was talking about how interest rates are moving like they are, and we're even swinging back and talking about old deals. Like, hey, this might work on an old deal. And you know what? Hey, really quick, let's get the ugly out of the way. What's something ugly we can talk about? And how we overcame that crap.
I would say, and you may disagree with me, depends on how you look at it, right? Because I think it's both good and ugly. So ugly, right? We were our pitches, right? Our deal pitches, they started off not so great, just because we weren't aware of what people wanted in these deals. Like we thought we were, but then we figured out, okay, what they really care about is what's my return and how much can I write off at the end of the year. That's what they truly care about, right? We just thought they wanted to have a good deal. They wanted to be part of a good deal. No, they want to make good money by doing nothing, which I totally understand. I mean, I think it's good and ugly, right? So we started off ugly, but we ultimately, because we're smart people, we turned it into a good experience we've learned so much this past week, and it's only going to help us grow. Only going to help us grow. So I would say that's the ugly part. Is it just, it started off a little, like we were unclear specifically about what investors wanted, and now it's rock solid. I mean, we've tweaked the numbers over and over and over to get double-digit returns now. So it's fantastic. I would say that's the ugly for the week. And non-real estate aside, all this moving I'm doing, I do not want to move anymore after this, even though I know we're going to have to. But I'm over it, man. I've been packing all week. I'm just over it. That's my ugly.
Temporary, man. It's temporary.
Temporary, yeah, temporary.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, we did a lot of slide decks over the last couple of weeks, and every time we did it, it changed a little bit. Every time we did it, we improved a little bit. And like, bro, think about in 3 more months where we're gonna be. It's gonna be we're gonna have like totally different outlooks and different. It's just gonna be so different in like 3 months. But yeah, I mean, thank you for the whole. I'm just gonna say this. Thank you to the whole team for putting that slide deck together. Like, I don't know if KJ designed it, but like Carolyn and KJ kind of like worked the design part. Joseph Aoni put the numbers together. We all got our pictures in there. We had ideas on how to do this and do that. Let's do it differently. And like every single time we're not like blowing this thing out. It's not 20 slides long. It's like, let's get more efficient and let's say the things we need to say. And like, yeah, I love it, dude. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Every single time we pitched it, we sat down, debriefed, tweaked it again. Every single time.
Yeah, every single time. And Myron and I are the ones who are like doing the pitch, right? So we're presenting the deal to people. And every single time towards the end, there was a question that was asked that Myron and I were like, we don't know how to answer that, but we'll get back to you.
Yep.
And because of those questions, right, it made us, like Joseph said, it made us go tweak it some more. And so every single time, which was good. I was telling the guys last night, I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, we're learning as we go. Like, we don't have this figured out. And even some of the people we pitched it to, I think all of them, actually, we told them we don't have it figured out. But here's what we got. And the cool part is that every single one of them gave us feedback. And the feedback was always positive. But also feedback on them was, this is what I'm looking for. And so Joseph and Aoni had to go back and tweak it on the numbers and stuff like that to make it attractive. But I mean, it was just very, very good feedback for us to learn, because on the next one, guys, we know exactly what to do.
100%.
Yeah, so we're excited. We're super excited. Actually, there's some very good things coming tomorrow, but as soon as we get those done, we'll come back on Monday on the Q&A probably and update you guys on everything. Got some questions in the chat, Joseph, if we want to bring those up.
Yeah, sure. I see the ones from Vishkar. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, let's do it. Are you able to share that paperwork once you are done with the deal? I don't see why not. Obviously, we have to redact all of the personal and deal-related information. But yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to share that. Stay tuned. It's about a 60-day close. So once everything's all said and done, I'm sure we could do something like that. In this deal specifically, the guy is an attorney, so he pretty much drafted the whole paperwork. We're gonna have an attorney review it too. How did you convince the seller to agree to that? I assume you're talking about the clause, protection clause. He has, let me say it this way, multifamily sellers, as we've said already, are much more savvy. They understand seller finance. And this guy in particular, he's almost like a unicorn seller. He knows we got to make money, right? And he's been very, very what's the word, cooperative with us. He has been going back and forth. It wasn't just, hey, we swing and hope to make it, right? Hope it lands somewhere. No, it's been back and forth batting constantly. Yeah, he's a very savvy guy. Oh, there you go. More sophisticated, as
Yeah,
Joel
and
said.
not only that, Joseph, remember that particular deal was listed on the market for 8 months.
8 months, yeah. That
8
too.
months that it was on the market for, and nobody was able to solve this guy's problem.
Mhm.
So when it came to our partner's lap, Marcel, he looked at the deal with the broker and told the broker, this is a seller finance play. This is not a cash deal. And so what we did then is we all got on a phone call with him, with the seller, the broker, Marcel, me, Joseph, and Myron. And then we spoke to the seller. But luckily, like Joseph was saying, a lot of multifamily sellers are sophisticated enough to understand what seller finance means. And so he's the one who presented us with options.
Mhm.
It was him who was like, here, I'm going to give you some options. Take a look at them. Let me know what you think. Let's come back and then let's revisit the subject. So if it wasn't for us understanding seller finance and pitching it to the broker then to the seller, then this deal would have remained on the market. I would think that the broker would probably have been fired very soon if he wasn't able to get this thing closed, because it's already been on the market 8 months. And he also told us he was a little frustrated because he didn't think it was going to last that long.
Yeah.
So that seller finance was his only option, basically.
Yeah.
But it
And
worked.
I was also going to say he was asking way overpriced. We're technically paying slightly overpriced for this property. When we underwrote it, I think we were at 2.2 million, and our purchase price is 2.9. He was wanting mid threes, if I remember right. I think at lowest he was going to take 3.1, and that's why it wasn't selling. He was incorrect about the value of the property, and I guess wasn't fully aware of the interest rates, or just didn't care. One of the two, right? So it worked out. We were able to solve his problem and get a great deal from doing so. So go out there and solve some problems, right?
Exactly.
How many investors do you have on this deal? We have a good amount of soft commitments. We're going to be following up and seeing who's actually wants to be in on this, right? We have a lot of soft commitments. Yeah, I'm interested. I could definitely do that, right? But I mean, we're open if you're interested, man. Hit us up. We could put something together. We're going to be doing another pitch this weekend, actually, to our mentor and some of the mentorship students. They all want in on it too. So yeah, if you want to know a little bit more about it, man, just hit us up. We can hit Oscar and Myron up. They're the main two. I'm just a fly on the wall if they need numbers help. Don't hit me up. No, I'm just kidding. If you hit me up, I'm just gonna redirect you. We got our roles, man. We love our roles. That's the deal. That's the deal. Hey, I see Marcel in the chat. Let's go. Another question. Did you guys raise money before looking for properties? Yeah, we're always looking to raise money. But for this property specifically, no, and once we got the terms that we liked, that's when we started really asking or looking for it. But we're always talking to people about potential future investors, right? That we're always talking to people. Always.
Right. Even if it's not a fit for this particular one, we'll get you on the next one.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we're looking all the time.
All the time. All right. There's one more. Dad Matson says, how did you find the deal? Well, through our branding and saying, hey, we do multifamily, our freaking awesome new partner, Marcel, he saw us as someone that was doing multifamily, and he's killing it in multifamily too. And he said, "Let me bring this deal to these guys. Let's do it together." Boom. Thus, the deal was born. Yeah, Marcel, man, I'm gonna screw up his last name. Barwanitz. Does that sound good? Marcel, put some fire in the chat if that was close. But yeah, our German friend Marcel, he brought us the deal, and he's actually done a lot in this deal. He's a freaking smooth talker. He's been point running with the brokers and the sellers. We're pretty much just his team behind the scene. He said good enough. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to butcher it. We love you though. But he brought us the deal, and we essentially just helped structure the deal in a way that made sense, and we're ready to rock forward with them. So it's 4 entities moving forward. You know, with the 3 of the gentlemen on the screen and their significant others. Those are 3 entities, and then Marcel he's the 4th entity in our group. Yeah, that's how we found the deal. Oscar, I think this one's for you, brother.
The short answer is yes. We talked to an attorney yesterday, so we're going to definitely be going through an attorney and going through all that paperwork very, very, very soon. So yes, Avishkar. I'll get more into details once the deal starts going, or after the deal is done, and then we'll tell you guys how we structure it.
Joel, how's your team roles set up? Bird dog, underwriter, integrator, etc. I assume you're talking about this one specifically, so that's what we're going to talk about. Our roles are pretty much the same as what we've been saying, right? It doesn't really differ very much. We have our primary roles on what we do, and then throughout each process on each deal, we fill in the gaps wherever it needs to be filled in, right? That's what I love about our team is we're all flexible and we're all, malleable in a way that we're not, nope, this is my job. That's all I'm going to do. Right. No, if there's something that needs to get done, someone will do it. Right. And we'll just communication. That's huge. Communication. If there's something that needs to get done, tell everyone that it needs to get done, and whoever can get to it, that's where we need to be at. So I guess let's start from the beginning, right? Carolyn and KJ, our initial outreach, they reach out to the brokers, their points, similar to what Marcel's doing in this deal. They are the person they're the point of contact. They relay any information back and forth to the brokers, and they also are in charge of, social media outreach. So putting all this stuff together, right? I didn't have a single part in this at all. The girls took care of that. They're excellent at bringing more people into the folds. The Facebook group, KJ put the Facebook group, that is growing every day. We're getting blown up with new people every day. Carolyn, she put the slide deck together, and that's what we use to pitch to these investors, right? They take care of all of that stuff, and we love them. Then the next in the conveyor belt is myself and Ione. We're the underwriters. We look at the deal. We make sure, hey, is this a good deal? Does it make sense? Should we proceed? Do we stress test it? We find out what kinds of questions need to be asked. What are we confused about? What doesn't make sense? So that way, when whoever it is goes to the property, we're well prepared to figure out where their weak points are and maybe some areas of concern. Right? That's underwriting in a general nutshell. Then it goes to our deal structuring and our what would y'all call it? Man, I forgot what you'll call it. Deal structuring and investor relations. Is that right? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Linked on it. My bad. Y'all can talk about that. What do y'all do in that portion?
So we work very closely with the underwriters when it comes to deal structure, because Myron and myself, we have to be in those meetings when the underwriters are are doing all that stuff, messing with the numbers, adjusting this and that, because that direct information we get is going to go into our investor relations, like when we pitch the deal or when we structure the deal itself as well. We need to understand that stuff. So we may not be in the nitty and gritty with Joseph and Ione when they're underwriting on spreadsheet, but whenever they present it to us, we understand exactly where it's coming from. So, for example, there's a certain number that we have to hit for us as GPs, and there's a certain number that we have to hit for our investors as well for their returns. So we're in those meetings together, figuring out, okay, based on our feedback that Myron and I got when we presented the deal, here's what we need to do. So we go back with them and we work very closely with each other. And then we go back, Myron and I, and then we structure the deal where it's supposed to be. And also, we talk to Myron and I, since we're a deal structure, we talk to attorneys to make sure that we're structuring the deal correctly, whether it has to be through the SEC or it's just a JV or whatever it may be. We also take care of that part. So we're making sure that whenever we structure the deal, it's going to be done correctly. And then on top of that, something we're learning right now is corporate structure. So Myron and I are ahead of that too. We have to make sure that everything that we do is structured out correctly as far as like entities and LLCs and all that kind of stuff. Attorney for syndication. We just had a call yesterday, and we're going to have one here today as well for crowdfunding. So all this stuff is very important for us to be on top of, because as soon as we get ready to sign the PSA, or when we sign the PSA typically, then that's when the deal structure part starts to happen as well simultaneously. So you have to get all that paperwork, all that legality, all the stuff, you have to get that in line. So that's what me and Myron do. And then on top of that, all of us kind of do it, but also Myron and I have taken the lead on raising capital. So we're always talking to people, especially if we've got a deal. Myron and I are just meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, just pitching our deal, and also our investor pool. You know, we have a list of people that have either done a soft commitment or they're ready to go. And all those people are in our database. So we know exactly who's who, and then we follow up with them and so on and so forth. But that's basically deal structure in a nutshell. It's a lot bigger, especially when we start syndicating. It gets a little bit more technical, but that's why you have your attorneys on your team so they can help you out with that stuff.
100%. Myron, do you have anything to add to that?
I think the only thing I would add is Oscar, very well thought out. Like, thank you. That was like very detailed. The only thing I would add is if we go to underwriting and deal doesn't work in a certain way, we're going to go back and structure it. We're going to get it structured the way it would work. So we work closely, like the team. You have to have a team, y'all. You get a team to bring you leads, underwriters to figure out how it needs to work, and then circle back around with the broker or the seller. Hey, this is where we're going to need to be. And so, like, let's just say one thing, like a scenario, like you're trying to do this by yourself. You call a broker, you get a deal, you underwrite it, and you don't see something like on the exit, you don't see something and you say, okay, let's go for it. And you put yourself in a bad situation, put more eyes on it, right? If nothing else, have more people put more eyes on your underwriting. But like, it's just more fun to do it together, bottom line. So Joel, like, I feel like we all know you, man. We love you very much. And whose team are you going to be on in the next month? I think we're going to put a goal on you to be on a team in the next month, because we know the drive that you have and we know the things that you're capable of. So that's all I would add.
Yeah. I would even add one more thing to it that maybe is not as common, but the three of us are typically the ones that will get on the phone with the seller. And it's like good cop, bad cop, except in this scenario, you have one good cop, which is Oscar, and then the two integrators that are devil's advocates and very blunt with what we say is like, dude, we're just telling you the facts, and that doesn't work. I mean, I kind of did do that to this other seller. They tried to tell us that expenses were 35% or lower. And I said, prove it. Now, I don't believe you. I mean, I obviously said it in a much more finessed way, but I don't believe you. Like, show me something that says that, or get me some proof, and then I will change my underwriting. But until then, this is where we're at. And they couldn't do it because it's not possible.
Still to this
So
day, been done it.
yeah, yeah. So that I would say that's one more thing of deal structuring that these two do very well. They're typically the ones that get on the phone with the seller. I'm usually the devil's advocate. Nope, I've seen the numbers. That doesn't make sense. That's pretty much my main role. You know, I don't care to talk to sellers. I did it for 2 years in single family, and I did not enjoy it. That's why I'm doing multifamily because I enjoy multifamily. Right? I can talk on the phone. I can do acquisitions. I just don't like to. That's why we have roles.
Yep. It's just like a
Okay.
conveyor belt, right? It goes
Yeah.
from Carolyn and KJ to Ione and Joseph to me and Myron, and that's it, right? And if there's a partner involved, then of course they have the role as well. But it's just a
Mhm.
conveyor belt, man. That's all it is. You get it through
Yeah.
the, once Ione and Joseph are done, they're like, man, okay, that's in your field now, Oscar and Myron, right?
Mhm.
And then if something comes back, then we'll bring it back to you guys and we'll work it together. But then it's back to you guys, right? Now go finish it. So it's awesome because Joseph's like, man, I'm so happy that you're the one doing the presentation, not me. I was like, yeah, bro, that's my role. That's what we're supposed to do, right? So yeah, it's awesome. Be part of a good team.
100%. It's nice to just I enjoy being on the presentation, and I think it's good that I'm there, so I'm hearing what they're saying. But I am so glad that I don't really have to do anything in that. Right? I'm I'm totally happy being that way. That's the way I would choose it. Then the last thing in the conveyor belt is asset management, and that's myself and Ione. So essentially, it goes Carolyn, KJ, Joseph and Ione, then Oscar and Myron, and then back to Joseph and Ione. Once it's finished, everything's done. Okay, great. Now we're making sure that everything that was underwritten actually happens. We're the people making very closely with property management, making sure that it actually gets done the way we underwrote it to get done. We want to make sure that all those numbers we put on the spreadsheet are the numbers that we're going to see in real life too. That's asset management in a nutshell.
So it's basically like we created the business plan. The underwriting is basically the business plan, right?
Mhm.
And we structured it together. And now we have to make sure it actually everything gets followed through, right? The property management or whatever it is. That's amazing.
Yep.
I think it's incredible.
It's super awesome, super awesome. And then there's a bunch of other, side roles that we all have, our hands in the pots, like talking property management, talking to lenders, doing the systems work. What else am I missing? Side roles. Uh,
Yeah, just little things like that,
yeah,
man.
there's a bunch of little things like that. I mean, I can't even think of all of them, but
Insurance.
there's so many different little things that are involved, and pretty much whoever has the time or can do it, that's who does it, right? But we kind of delegate that communication. That's 100% what's most
Exactly.
important. And I know a lot of people have that question all the time. So if you missed it, too bad.
Watch the recording.
Yeah, watch the recording. Okay. Vishkar, I would love to know how you structure the shares for your investors and y'all if possible. It's different every time. That's the short answer. It's different every single deal. And that's part of the underwriting and then presenting it. And that's kind of what I meant earlier when I said it was ugly at first because we didn't have it structured in a way that made sense to people. It made sense to us, but it didn't make sense to other people that were getting involved. So it kept coming back. Hey, let's tweak it this way. Okay, let's try it again. Nope, didn't work. Hey, it's come back. Let's tweak it this way. What did they say? Oh, they wanted this. Okay, let's try this. All right, so it's always a work in progress. Now we have a better understanding about it, and it truly is different every single deal. So I can't really give you one answer because it is different every single deal. Where are y'all finding your leads? If you're pulling lists, what kind of lists? If it's brokers, how are you finding these brokers? We typically just call brokers, and none of us on the screen here are in charge of that. None of us truly are in charge of calling brokers. That's KJ and Carolyn, and they do a phenomenal job. And that's really all we do. I know that Myron has a list set up to do some direct to seller, but our primary source is brokers, and you can find them on LoopNet, going to different real estate meetups, going to commercial real estate meetups specifically, talking to different people, asking other brokers, hey, I'm looking for this type of deal. Here's my buy criteria. Let me know if you find anything. If you know anyone, I'd love to connect with them, right? Just talking to people. That's how you find them. And we go on LoopNet, or the girls go on LoopNet and just search by city and just start calling.
Yep. And it wasn't one or two calls either, man. It was collectively they've called in about 2.5 months, 500 brokers or more. And it's more now because they've been calling more and more, but it won't be one or two calls. You have to keep being consistent and follow up with them. Develop a good relationship with them.
And Maj, they were doing that they did not have a triple line dialer doing that. Man, they were dialing with their phone. One by one, finding active deals, and one by one, developing relationships. I would love to have a system set up going forward. We're going to work on that, right? And I think that's something we could help serve the community, but just think about that process. And so, like, all those calls, 500, however many calls, and now the man, it's just worked out so perfectly, because now we developed all those relationships and all those deals that we've looked at. And now those brokers are calling KJ and Carolyn over and over. Hey, have you all looked at this thing? Hey, have you made a bid on it? What's going on? So it takes some time. Like right now, you got to strike where the iron is hot. Make those calls.
Yeah. And on top of that, it's a buyer's market right now, Maj. So you are not going to have any issues talking to brokers, because brokers want to talk to you now. Not when it was like when we started, right? It was still the end of the seller's market. Brokers did not want to talk to us. You're not serious. You don't have a what do you call it? Credibility behind you. We don't want to talk to you. They hung up on you. But now they want to talk to you, and they're going to follow up with you. I guarantee it. They'll keep following up with you, because that's what they're doing to us. They won't let us. They won't let us rest, man. They're always pressuring us now. Like, hey, what's going on? What's this deal? Blah blah blah. So it's a buyer's market, man. And now they want to talk to you more than ever. So get out there and talk to brokers, man.
100%. Before we continue answering questions, was there anything else that you guys wanted to cover for our good, the bad, and the ugly? Because I think primarily what we've been doing is pitching deals all week. I think primarily that's been the focus. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. I just wanted to make sure.
We have a couple of the deals in the pipeline that I feel have taken a back seat. But I'd like to, we have a deal in Houston. I don't want to give away too much. We have a deal in Houston we've been looking at. On like a scale of 1 to 10, where are we at on that one?
Well, we were at like you're talking about the 71 unit, right?
Yes.
The one Ione likes?
Yes.
Yeah, we were I would say we were like at an 8. And now we're at like a 2.
Ooh.
Because I don't know if you remember this, but they're playing games. They don't realize it's a buyer's market now. So we gave an LOI. They presented a counter. We kind of were like, okay, it's close, but it's still a little high, especially with the cost of debt right now. So we presented another LOI, and this is before the interest rates spiked up even more. And their counter, they raised the price, they raised the EMD, and they shortened the due diligence period, and they made the money hard. So their counter got worse for us. So we're like, I don't think you guys know how to negotiate. You're going in the wrong direction. So we essentially just told them, like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. We're going to stay firm with our offer. And when they come back to us again, we're going to give them a lower offer than what we just offered, because that's how they want to play this. So that's how we'll do it. Yeah.
Savage.
we really want that deal, but they're just, that doesn't make sense. We're not going to put ourselves in a position where it doesn't make sense, and that's what they're trying to do.
And then on top of that, like the other, I wouldn't call it ugly, but the other ugly thing that's going on is kind of what Myron said. Some of the things are in the back seat, but a lot of stuff that is coming across at our desk now, from an underwriting standpoint, a lot of it's just not penciling out with conventional loans anymore, or even short term like bridge debt or construction loans. They're not penciling out because of the interest rate being so high. So now we have to get a lot more creative with these deals that are coming across, which is a great problem to have. We love creative finance. So for us, it's making sure that whenever we underwrite, especially with the interest rates going up, that we make sure it is. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's becoming a little harder to find a deal with a conventional method. So now more than ever, we are looking at every single deal that comes across our table. Can this thing do creative finance? And so that's what we're looking at now when we're analyzing our deals is creative finance versus conventional. And a lot of the conventionals are just not working. So that's another thing for you guys who are listening. Seller finance is powerful more than ever right now. I think we keep talking about that, right? We love seller finance, but it really is. It's just a lot more powerful now. So go out there and start asking. This thing doesn't underwrite cash. Are you guys open to seller finance? That's it. So yeah.
I think it'd be cool on one of our lives like this, that if we had a deal that we had like a seller finance play to pitch, that we made that call on the live. You think that'd be freaking badass or what?
I think that would be pretty cool. Get a lot of value.
And just kind of see, like a cold call, just kind of see what that broker says.
Or maybe even, how like we plan out. Well, I guess typically we do it on Zoom. And I wouldn't want to have a bunch of people watching on the Zoom. They're like, man, who are all these people? Oh, don't worry about them. That's just our audience.
Holding on to the Zoom. Yes.
Yeah. No. Maybe we could record it or something like that. I think a live call would go very well. Maybe we have one of the girls come on and cold call a broker and just, hey, can we do that deal? Or I don't know, maybe a deal that we're already looking at. And I guess how do you pitch seller finance? Are they open to seller finance to the broker? Because I think a lot of people would get value from that.
Yeah.
And then as a follow-up, maybe we can structure it as a seller finance. Even if it doesn't work, let's show how that would work out, right? We can do some faux terms and just see.
Right.
I think that would be very beneficial.
Right. Get the deal and doing it. It probably need to be on a Zoom rather than a live. But like probably. structure out how it would look. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think so.
Agreed.
Cool.
So that's the good, the bad, and the ugly, and none of it's really been that ugly. Just depends on how you look at it. I mean, I think it's been a lot of great feedback, right? It's only making us better. But we've had so many good problems come up. Like I was telling Myron before, I was like, man, like before I was having trouble sleeping because I was like, how are we going to do this? But after yesterday and everything that we heard, now I couldn't sleep because I was super excited, right? It's like it's a roller coaster ride, but it's all like also like learning lesson every single day. And so I'm grateful for where we are now, where we came from to where we are now, man. Our journey has just been so amazing. And now we're like talking to attorneys and we're talking to, potential other investors, and man, it's been a journey, man. It really has been. And thank you for the team, for you guys, for everything that we've done together, man. I couldn't imagine just us doing it ourselves. It's way too much, right? And I'm so happy, like you said, Joseph, it goes to whoever needs to go to, whoever that role is, you take care of it. And which one of us we can rely on, which is amazing. I love it, man.
Yeah. Even if it was just us three, I don't know if I would want to do that. Like, I'm glad we have our other counterparts. It's a whole squad, man. I think we could probably do it, but I definitely wouldn't want to. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier having, our whole team. We all mesh very well. That's the easiest way to say it. We mesh very well.
Yeah, dude. When stuff is too stressful, it just, you can turn the afterburners on and get it done, like plow through it, but like the quality of your conversations and everything just takes a plummet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have the energy to do this, to provide it, to do these lives and Zooms and give back. It would just be like, oh, we're trying to maintain our own crap. Right.
Yeah. And on top of that, we're closing single family deals on the side too.
Correct.
We got one right now that we're closing. Supposed to close today. I hope it does. But that's another roller coaster in itself.
Yeah.
I need to get that app. Like Marcel. Love it, bro. I need to go get that app for real. Because every time you do something like that, I'm gonna play it. So I'm gonna do that after this live. It'll add some sound effects to it. Okay.
Yeah. So, Oscar, are you buying in? What areas are you buying in single family, Oscar?
DFW. Anywhere in DFW that makes sense with the numbers. We're looking for fix and flips. So the one we're taking on, we're going to be doing a fix and flip. It's in Fort Worth, Texas. And this thing, we've been working on this thing for a minute now to get it closed, but we finally got everything lined up. I don't think it'll close today. It might close early next week. But yeah, we're looking for fix and flips. So if you guys have anything that makes sense, bring it our way. We will underwrite as a team. And then if it makes sense, we will take it on.
What ARV would you buy at?
Good question. Because the market has adjusted, right? I think we're looking closer to 60% of ARV. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Myron, but I think that's what we're looking for.
60%, but how high can you go on ARV? Like what
dollar amount?
We go to $1 bro.
We're pretty open on the dollar amount. I mean, like the one that we're going to be doing, I think the ARV would be like 1.2 or something like that million. And so as long as it makes sense, I think we'd be open to the dollar amount. Preferably anything under $1 million is fine, I think. Because the one we're tackling is a pretty high-end fix and flip. So we're open to it. Bring it on.
Love it.
We do.
And how do they contact you? How do they send you a deal?
Shoot me a message. My Instagram handle's right there. Shoot me a message through Instagram and let's talk. You guys have single family deals? Bring them on. We'll take a look at them.
What about Austin? Let's take a look at it. Bro, I love Austin. I love the single family market there. I love the multifamily market there. I have some great private equity people in Austin.
I got a crew that could do Austin and Houston. So Houston is good too.
Legit millionaires that would sponsor us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're open to Austin.
Yeah, let's do it.
We twisted his arm, Joseph.
I know.
Well, I'm only going to be 2 hours away, so it's not that far of a drive for me anymore. So
love it.
That'll be cool. All right, let's continue. All right, Joel, once we get a lead from the brokers, we can send it to you guys. I would say, what are your intentions with sending it to us? Yeah, you definitely can, but make sure you have your intentions as far as what you want ready to go, because that's going to be one of the first questions we ask you, right? And you also need to make sure you have all your financials, your 3 important documents, T12, rent roll, OM, and what was the last thing? Totally just blanked. Oh, yeah. We want to help as many people as we can, right? We absolutely do. But what ends up happening is people just expect us to do the work and then they get a part in the deal, right? They get to be equal partners with us. So we're not opposed to having equal partnerships. As you can see, we're doing one with Marcel, but here's the difference. Marcel is doing a lot of work. Marcel is picking up the reins. He's putting it on his back and he's moving. This guy's a hustler, right? We've had multiple people just kind of reach out to us and say, here, underwrite my deal. And like very aggressive and not really introducing themselves. Hey, how are you? You know, I've been watching your stuff. My name is so and so. You know, how can I bring value to you guys? No one leads with that anymore. I understand that maybe it's because they feel close to us or because we've been doing this. I understand that aspect, but it doesn't come off the right way when you're just like, call me now. Right. And then 2 minutes later, you send another text. Are you going to call me? Right. There's been multiple people that do some crazy stuff, and it does not make us want to work with those people. And the best part about this business is we can choose who we work with. Right. And I'm not saying that about anyone specific. I'm just saying as a generalization, you know, you want to bring value forth. Right. And just sending a lead isn't necessarily bringing value. Because if the lead is not a good lead, now we're wasting time underwriting a not good lead, right? So what I would like to see is you've already spoken with the broker. You've spoken with them and asked if they're open to doing seller finance, because more than likely, currently, conventional isn't going to work. It's going to be very rare that a conventional method works now with the market trends. So we want to see those documents. We want to know that you've asked that question. We want to know that you are actually direct to broker, and that or seller, yeah, and that you've napkin underwritten the property and we're relatively close on price and what the seller actually wants, right? Go ahead, Myron.
What if I don't know how to napkin underwrite?
If you join the Facebook group, Multifamily, the $1 Million Upside, and go to the featured tab, there's a link to everything you need. And if you go to multifamily resources, the link for multifamily resources, there's, I believe, 3 underwriting Zooms that explain napkin underwriting and how you can really understand the basics of underwriting. There you go. That's the Facebook group right there.
So if you don't know how to underwrite, we literally, if you go into our group, we have Zooms recorded on exactly how to do it. Like, do they have an excuse? No.
Boom, look at that. KJ, I posted the napkin underwriting formula in the Facebook group, and there are previous videos teaching how. Boom. Also, we are, for those of y'all that keep asking, we are working on the recent Zooms. We are working on putting that together. Myron and I sat down yesterday to start building out this CRM so we can actually have a spot to store it and provide it to the community. So it is a work in progress. The only reason it's taking so long is because I've got so much moving going on. And after I get settled in, it should be up and running. But it is currently going on. It's working. We did not forget about you guys. I promise.
Yeah. Also, Joel, on your question, the reason why Joseph is saying all this is because you would be also helping out Joseph and Ione with the time that they spend on the deals that are brought to us. Because like he said, there's times where people have brought us deals and they expect us to do all the underwriting. That's a lot of time for these guys to be spending on a deal that might not even be a deal, right? So it'd be a bonus if you had all that stuff already ahead of time so that whenever it's presented to us, we can just run with it, because that would save them so much more time. And that will separate you from the other people who are just, sending in deals but don't necessarily do anything. So like that's what's going to separate you from bringing more value than just someone who's submitting a lead and then not ever following up or expecting us to do the entire work. So that's how you can add value to us.
100%. Okay, we just answered the underwriting question. Here, I'll throw this out there too. I mean, Ione and I are considering having like a paid underwriting service where it's similar to like an attorney. It's by the hour, and we'll sit down with you and underwrite, right? Because then we're being paid for our time, and we'll underwrite whatever you want. So that's something that we're also doing here in the near future. We're putting that together as well. So that way, you can kind of jump ahead of the line and you can get your questions right then and there. It's one-on-one time. We'll sit down with you, underwrite everything you've got. If you have multiple deals, we'll keep going. And you can pick our brain in that session and ask as much questions as you want. Maybe it'll take you, 1 to 5 sessions for you to understand it. And then you don't need us anymore. You can go and do it yourself. So that's something that we're thinking about offering here shortly too.
And then just to touch up on that, Joseph, Ione had spent thousands of dollars now collectively learning how to underwrite multifamily. And that's including getting analyzers, calculators, video content, joining other mentorship programs specifically for underwriting, hours and hours and hours underwriting, and then teaching it to obviously the group, bringing back that value. Now Joseph knows how to do it too, but because of that, we've invested so much money. So if you're getting like one-on-one time with Joseph or Ione in the underwriting, man, like you're getting so much value. Like how like incredibly deep that they go into the underwriting spreadsheet and everything. They'll show you every single which way the numbers work. So you guys would be getting an exclusive if you guys do that one-on-one with them. So much value. Even I learn stuff every single day. Every single time I talk to Joseph, I'm like, Joseph, or Ione, like, show me the numbers, and they'll show me everything. And they know it like the back of their hands. Like yesterday, Joseph did a pitch because he's done the numbers so much, right? He did a pitch and all by memory. He told the person everything by memory, average rents, cash on cash, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm going off of memory. And Ione was listening, but also had the spreadsheet pulled up. And he's like, man, he's right. Every single number he said by memory, spot on. So that's the type of people you'll be working with is people who know their numbers and truly understand the deal and how to structure it as well.
I was also driving. Yeah, but that's something coming soon, guys. Stay tuned. Okay. Honestly, I don't really know how to answer this because I would say it's a little bit of both. Here's the question. Does your GP share, and he's talking about your general partner share, count as active income or passive income? Well, I think it's a little bit of both, especially early on. What would y'all say?
It's a two-part, right? Because as a GP, a lot of the times you would take an acquisition or management fee up front. So that can be considered active. And then on top of that, you get a percentage of the cash flow. So that can be considered passive. Right. So that's where I'm at. I think that's kind of where
I would agree with.
Yeah.
We are not financial experts or whatever
CPAs
or anything like that. Like stuff like that, you structure it with your financial advisor person.
Hang on, I lost this. Okay. Have your brokers brought you guys any single family flips? Well, yesterday the answer would have been no, but actually Zach McQueen texted Oscar and I, said he has 5 houses that he has a seller for in Little Rock, Arkansas. So if anybody's interested in Little Rock, Arkansas, we got a guy that's selling 5 houses. I don't know anything about it other than that. Because I told him, I said, I really don't. I might, but only if it's at a discounted price. He said, let me get back to you. I don't know the price. So
we have some buddies on Little Rock.
Yeah, you're talking about the same Benton deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought of too. And that's why I was like, they're only going to want to buy if it's creative or a discounted price. And he said, well, I don't really know the price,
right,
or the value of it. He's like, let me get back to you. But that's exactly he said it. So the answer was no until yesterday. They don't typically we don't typically tell them we're looking for single family. For brokers, multifamily. Our single family comes from the community around us, whether that's through Sub 2 or any other group that we're part of. I've made a lot of connections in Houston just through networking. You know, they bring us stuff. These guys have made a lot of connections through networking in Dallas. They bring them stuff. So we have our hands out there. We have an extended reach in single family. So all the legwork we've previously done is just currently working, right? We're not necessarily as active in the single family, but we're not opposed to doing deals still. Joseph, if you guys can't come across the deal I sent, let me know. It's still active on the market. Awesome. Yes, I figured. I know what you're talking about, Andrea. Let me get backstory, guys. They told her, "Hey, call for final offers is Friday." I told her, I said, "I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't think that I'm gonna be able to get to it by then. I will try." And then on Monday, they said that the final call for offer would be Monday, and now she's telling us that it's still active on the market. So when they say final call for offer, they're just putting pressure on you guys to submit some offers because they want some offers in. They have to perform. That's all they're doing. Yeah, sometimes it might be true, but more than likely it's not going to because of this market shift. What are y'all's thoughts?
Nah, I just talked to a broker yesterday or the day before. Calling offers where it was on Monday of this week, and they hadn't picked an offer yet. It was like, just submit another one.
Yeah.
Submit one whenever you get a chance. We haven't accepted anything.
Yeah. I haven't forgot about you, Andrea. I know that it's still there. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I know. I promise. I really have not forgot about you. Joel says, "I hate talking direct to seller. Broker agent outreach really made a difference for me with them being more sophisticated." We agree. How often do you leverage your sponsors or credibility with the brokers? Would you guys like to answer this one?
I think it should come up when it needs to, but KJ and Carolyn are typically standing on their own 2 feet on it. Is we are well funded kind of answers. You don't need to worry about that. They understand how debt is structured. They understand, not deep dive, but they understand loans. So Maj, Carolyn and KJ, we did at first. Like at first, it's kind of what you do is in any situation, multifamily or single family, like, oh, my investor, my partner, this and that. And now we're to the point where this is how we are. This is what we're doing. So I'd say don't be afraid to leverage a sponsor or a partner to help you have that confidence in the deal.
Yeah. And also what helps is having a goal that you guys or you and your team or yourself is shooting for, because the broker will appreciate that more, right? Like we were giving the goals of our mentor, which is great. That helped us with the credibility. But once we really sat down and had a goal as a team, now our brokers are trying to help us reach that goal. And it also sounds much more authentic over the phone because it really is your goal, right? And so for us, we're like, look, we're trying to get 1,000 units by July of 2023. And they note that down. It's like 1,000 units, July 2023. Perfect. Let me bring you. And one of them actually broke it down with us. He's like, okay, well, shoot, if you guys are looking for 100 units or whatever it may be, you need this many amount of properties, right? So how about if you guys increase that number to 100 plus, you guys can get there quicker. Like, awesome. Let's do it. Right. And so it just, having those goals set in front of, ahead of time and letting them know, like, look, I'm fairly new, but here's my goal. I want to get my first deal, blah, blah, blah. Be as honest and authentic as you can with them because they'll appreciate that so much more. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Definitely. Good answers, guys. And I'll add this one last thing. I remember Carlos, our mentor, saying this. it's similar. He used the example of an IRS audit, right? You don't give them answers to questions they didn't ask, right? If they're asking you something, give them the answer. That's it. Don't start offering up information, because you may put yourself into a position where, maybe it questions what you just told them. You don't want to just start spilling information. Only give them the answers to the questions they ask. I see that we've got a lot of support for your idea, Myron, about doing the call live.
Heck yeah.
Would love to see those conversations look like sellers and brokers. Yes. Yes, please. So we got some interest. We got some interest. Okay. Where can I learn how to underwrite such that the deal meets the criteria for LPs and GPs? For those of y'all that don't know, LPs are limited partners. Again, GPs are general partners. So he's just talking about the equity splits between your limited partners and general partners. So it goes into your underwriting, right? And I'll give a brief description or explanation. Is typically you see 70-30 or 80-20, with the higher number being for the LPs, the investors, the people that put money into your deal. Typically they have the higher percentage because they're the ones putting the money in. You're just retaining a percentage because you're running the deal. Now it's completely open. You could do it however you want to. The problem is you have to make it attractive for investors to come in and want to do that with you. You have to make the numbers look good enough, and specifically the cash on cash, which has been what we have been told is the primary thing that people are looking for. A lot of people are looking for double-digit returns for their cash on cash because other people are offering double-digit returns. So you have to be competitive. If you want people to invest in your deal versus another deal, you need to be competitive. And that's kind of what we were talking about before. Is we were like, man, this is a freaking phenomenal deal. You can't get this by, putting money into a savings account. You're making way more than doing anything like that. But the problem was other people are offering double-digit returns. We weren't doing that. We are now because we tweaked it, but we weren't doing that until we were told and we got that feedback. That's kind of what we were touching back on.
Yep. Learning lesson every single day.
Yeah. And the way you underwrite that to make it work is you need to get an analyzer for sure. 100% you need to get an analyzer. Just type in, you can go and get the Michael Blank syndicator analyzer or deal sheet. I think it's one of the cheaper ones out there. It's a very popular one. That's probably the easiest one to get your hands on and cheapest. There's other ones out there, like Oscar was saying, the one Ione has, phenomenal. We love that one. Definitely a lot pricier. A little over $1,000, I believe. And I think you're still paying monthly for it. Is that right?
Yep. And we're looking at another one too. Ione's looking at another one that's even better than that one. So stay tuned. We may get another one.
Does it have creative finance?
It has a bunch of features, but I don't know about creative finance.
We're gonna make that. We're gonna bring that.
I know we need to make that and give that out. That's what we need to do, is put that together. But to answer your question, Avishkar, you're just tweaking that percentage on the analyzer. You're just messing with it and adjusting the numbers until it's attractive with the cash on cash return to your investors. Until you get to that number where you feel like, hey, this is a good looking deal. I know I can get someone to invest at this price. What does that share look like? Does it have preferred returns? Preferred returns is return on their money. They get paid that first before anybody else gets any splits. That gets paid first. Then the equity split. And then whatever is left over is for the general partners. So the best way you can learn, get an analyzer, start playing with it, or come to one of those underwriting services that I was talking about. Any one of those will help you get better at it. It's just dependent on how much money you want to put into it, on how fast you can learn it. Okay. I'll let you guys answer this one.
Joel says, same lessons from these broker calls. Can we apply it to single family flips and talking to agents? The way I see it is that's how I started my single family journey, was talking to agents, which is why whenever I transitioned to multifamily, talking to brokers wasn't that hard for me because it's basically a step up from an agent, right? And so when I was talking to agents, I would cold call them, and it's a little bit of a different approach because you are talking to single family. Remember, a lot of the brokers and sellers in multifamily are sophisticated enough to understand creative finance. Agents and sellers are a different story. Okay, a lot of agents are just trained traditionally throughout the conventional method, so they don't really understand, or most of them don't understand creative finance. So it's going to be a little bit of a different type of approach when you talk to agents. Agents really what they care about the most is making sure they get compensated. That's what they really care about. So when you're approaching an agent, especially a listing agent, you have to hook them from the very beginning because they're busy. They get phone calls left and right, just like brokers do. If you're going to be there and waste their time, they're going to hang up on you quickly. So you have to be able to be direct with these people. I know you're busy, but hey, I want to know about your listing. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Blah, blah, blah. And also incentivize the listing agent. A lot of the times, I'm going to give you a gold nugget. This cost me some money but this is how I was able to win listings when I was doing single family when I first started. I would always incentivize my agents by telling them, if we can do here in Texas, if we can do what's called an intermediary agreement between us, meaning you represent the seller and you represent me as the buyer, quote unquote, double representation, then you get both sides of the commission. That incentivizes the agent to work with me. And then I was able to get my foot in the door. Remember that the commissions don't come out from the buyer, they come from the seller. So it doesn't matter to them, right? And so that's how I was able to talk to agents. But the approach is different. Remember, you still have to educate them if you're going to do anything creative finance, especially in this market. But I would say it's different, Joel. You definitely have to pivot when you talk to single family agents, for sure.
Well said. All right, so I've only got 13 minutes, so we're going to plow through some of these questions. I see that Zach wants our buy box for single family, so we could definitely send that.
Okay.
Joel says 55-65% becoming an average. I think Jessica Ayala is looking for our buy box as well, and what area we're looking for. I would say Austin, Houston, Dallas.
Yep.
That's the primary where we're looking at.
San Antonio.
And San Antonio.
Yep.
Oscar likes San Antonio. I'm just teasing. Okay. Zach, are you open with working with you, brother? Have some offers to submit in DFW.
Oh, I think they're talking between each other, right?
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna answer for him. He's definitely open. Oh yeah. Look, I see it right there. Perfect. He said text him. Awesome. Okay. Good to know. I'm gonna ask. Can you put that in the chat? What we need. What if we say please bring value? Conventional definitely isn't working. Okay, let's see. KJ. So here's an example. Somebody yesterday sent us the deal and they said, it's a deal. It's seller finance. They can do it. And I did the napkin underwrite. The deal was 20 million overpriced. No, dude. It's not a good deal. Just because it's seller finance does not mean it's a good deal. Still run your numbers. Make sure it's a good deal, guys.
Well, what if it's like a 500-year note? Can we do that?
That's different. I would 20 million over for 500 years. Because I'll never pay that. I'm not going to live that long. But
by the way, Myron standard amortization is now 50. If you come anything underneath 50-year amortization, don't even talk to him, guys.
Yeah. Gotta come correct, y'all.
Yeah. But think about it, guys. That's setting up his kids, her kids, whoever it is. They're set up. They're getting paid for the rest of their lives and their kids. That's actually not a bad deal if you think about it. But you have to.
Maybe not very much per month, but
yeah. You got to paint that picture, though. Oh, look at that. We got some positive feedback on the underwriting services. Awesome.
Love it.
Oh, look at that. Double positive. Oh, here's some of the information for Zach's deal. If you guys are interested, hit him up. Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay, let's keep going. I think that is it on questions. Yeah. That's it. That's it, guys.
Awesome.
Cool.
Final thoughts before we sign off.
Joseph, go.
I was just gonna say that I appreciate each and everyone that tunes into all these calls. You guys are awesome. I say this all the time. We would just be sitting here having another team meeting with each other, but you guys, are here and ready to absorb this information and take in the value we're giving out. Like Oscar said, we've paid a lot of money to learn this stuff, but the go-giver spirit in us wants to be able to provide, right? Our mentor said it the other day. He said, if I change your lives by helping you do one deal, then I've accomplished my goal. And I would like to say that that's our goals as well. Like, we want to change as many lives as possible. For one, because it's going to change your life, right? That's the first reason. The second reason, a little bit selfishly, is it's going to help bring us more value too, whether it's through the person we changed their life or word of mouth. Hey, these guys are helping me out. They're teaching me this stuff, right? There's no negative out of doing this, right? We are able to provide value, and we're open to receiving value too. So I think it's a win-win situation. And I just want to say I appreciate all you guys coming on here. I appreciate the team, each and every one of you guys. I appreciate Marcel. I know you're listening out there, brother. I appreciate you all. That's all I wanted to say. And Zach, I see you too down there, brother. We're going to see you in 1 week. We'll see you in 1 week. That's it for me, guys.
That's awesome. I feel the same way, man. Like, we've been doing this and doing this and doing this, these lives. And we have, what I think is cool is we have some consistent people and we have new people every week come on and see us and talk to us and ask us questions and ask us some difficult questions, ask us some, like, it's just freaking awesome, man. And our Facebook group is growing. I think we're gonna hit 400 by the end of the week. By the end of next week. I'm sorry, by the end of next week. We're gonna hit 400 members on that, and it just got started. Like, people are doing deals in there. People are connecting. They're asking about underwriting. I think it's amazing. It's freaking cool. Like, everything about this whole thing is freaking cool. I love it.
Yeah, the community is growing, and on top of that, it forces us to grow too. Like, it really does. And the other day, Myron and I I think it was yesterday, we were on a call with an attorney, and the connections that we're making are just freaking amazing. I mean, we might be bringing some really, really good stuff to some of our Friday Zooms in the near future, guys. So, like, the value that we're going to be bringing along the way, guys, right now you're getting the really, really good stuff. Like, get in early, because the things that we're going to be doing here in the near future, you're just going to appreciate it more. You're going to see everything from where we started, where you guys started too, the people who are watching, to where we're going. We're taking you on the same journey as if we were starting from zero, because we did start from zero. When we started this thing, I don't even think we had 30 units yet when we first started it. Nope. And then we got 30 units. Some of you guys who've been watching us, you know that we've got 30 units, and now we've got this one that we're working on, the 40 unit one. And so, like, we've got many more things in the pipeline, but the people that we are making connections with, I think you guys will appreciate it in the near future for sure. Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned.
Awesome. We love you guys. Little announcement. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we are not hosting a multifamily Zoom today. We all just have a bunch of other obligations. I'm about to go pick up a U-Haul truck and start loading it up. So I won't be able to, and I know these guys have other meetings to take care of today. So we just decided collectively to pass on this week just because we had a lot on our plate. We will resume again. Well, maybe not, because we'll all be driving on Friday. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. This week, this week we won't be doing it, but stay tuned. We are coming to Texas, my brother. We're moving to Conroe. I see you, Joel. We're moving to Conroe, north of Houston. We'll be there in 3 days.
And then shout out to Marcel. He does underwriting Zooms every Sunday for people who work 9 to 5. So if you guys aren't able to make our Zooms, which are typically Fridays, then jump on his Zoom on Sunday, and they do underwriting. I think it's from like 7 to 8 p.m. Central, I think, or something.
Oscar, are we gonna get them on a Zoom or something and like collaborate with them? Like, why are we waiting so long to do that?
Very soon, my brother.
I think we should.
Yeah.
These guys are awesome. They're all 9 to 5ers. So all you 9 to 5ers out there, if you think, hey, it's not possible because I'm working a 9 to 5, that is not true. Change your mindset. These guys are doing it. They all work 9 to 5 jobs.
And they're all husbands and they're dads, and they have two kids or less or more, basically. So they're doing it with families too.
Yeah. So go check them out. I know Marcel is going to post in our Facebook group. So stay tuned for that. We told him that he could post in the group for it. So be on the lookout for that if you're not already following Marcel. Awesome, guys. See you next time. We appreciate y'all.